She's got long legs and short shorts, but she ain't got no teeth. She wears a red bandana on her head, and she smiles so sweet. She'll steal your heart at very first sight, she'll rip apart your soul. She'll torture your mind and waste your time and drag you down the road, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel.
Hey y'all, you're listening to episode 26 of the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast. This is Ashley Feller. I'm a third-generation Panama City native. I'm a musician, and I'm also a singer-songwriter. This week, I'll be sharing music and community events for the upcoming weekend of April 23rd through 25th. Then I hope you stay tuned for a conversation with Jackie Mehall, who is the founder and leader of the Salty Cats of St. Andrews. There's so many places to have beers and cocktails here, but it wasn't always this way. This week's Old News segment comes from the St. Andrews Bay News in 1917, and it covers all the things a person could buy instead of a nice cold beer. That doesn't sound very much fun, does it? I still thought this was an intriguing article, and I look forward to sharing it with you. Making these episodes has been a wonderful outlet for me, y'all. I want to thank all y'all for your support. To help the podcast even more, please leave me a review on YouTube and your podcast platform of choice, and I really appreciate your help. Well, I've got a lot of exciting things to share. Get your favorite beer, a glass of iced tea, whatever wets your whistle, and enjoy episode 26 of the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast. Y'all, there is so much happening in St. Andrews. It is almost overwhelming. In, of course, a good way. Here's the music events for the weekend. Go ahead and get your planners ready. If you like jazz and seafood, Class Act is at the Shrimp Boat starting at 5 p.m., and across the way is Anthony Peebles singing for you at Los Angejitos starting at 6 p.m. Also for the 6 o'clock hour, you've got a few choices. You could either skip across Lake Ware to Little Village to see the Chambos, or you could waltz down to Alice's on Bayview for more jazz with Jimmy Ward. You could visit the Tap Room for cold beers and music by Tyler James. John Cannon is making music for you at Uncle Ernie's starting at 7 p.m., and String Theory is jamming out at the House of Bourbon also at 7 p.m. And if you're craving a field trip back to the 80s, then don't miss De Nouveau at the Salty Hobo at 9 p.m. Also this Saturday, I believe, starting at about noon, Rhett Plash will be picking and gritting for y'all at the Tap Room, and Janelle Frost is back at the Little Village to serenade you starting at 1 p.m. Then in case you missed them, Class Act is back once again at the Shrimp Boat at 5 p.m. Here we are, back at 6 p.m. and so many choices for great live music and great dining. You could go to Los Angejitos for margaritas and music by Hunter and Tony at 6, or Joseph Brooks is also singing his heart out for y'all at Little Village at 6, and they have great tacos, by the way. George Allen is at Alice's, also at 6, but my personal choice would be to go to the Tap Room to see my favorite local band, and that's Longleaf Drive. They help me get my bluegrass fix every single time. The multi-talented Jamad Terry will be bringing the music for you at Uncle Ernie's at 7 p.m. And if you couldn't make it to the House of Bourbon on Friday night, then you're in luck, because String Theory is back at 7 p.m. on Saturday night. And for all my nightcats out there, the Honeydew Effect, cool name by the way, is rocking it out at the Salty Hobo at 8 p.m. Last 2 weekends, we've had some pretty dreary weather. I'm crossing my fingers and toes that this Sunday will be beautiful, because who wouldn't want to spend their Sunday exploring St. Andrews, eating delicious things, drinking tasty beers, and experiencing the best live music, which we have a lot of in this small place. This Sunday, Alice's has brunch at 10:30, and they usually have music, but I wasn't able to find out any information for them this week. Check their Facebook page closer to the weekend, and there may be an update. Another brunch option is the Tap Room. Woods the Band is playing their early set at noon, and Janelle Frost plays the later set, which I believe starts around 3 or 4. Also at 1 p.m., you've got Phil Nolan at the Little Village. Sunday is the most relaxing day in St. Andrews, and it's also usually the least crowded. So gather up your friends and enjoy winding down your week with cold adult beverages and live music in our charming little town. And now for some community events. The inaugural Salty Cat Day was supposed to be this Saturday, April 24th, from 8 to 2 p.m. But with terrible weather coming our way, the event has been postponed until May 15th. So the Salty Kitties have a little bit longer to campaign for the Salty Kitty Committee. While we're here, let me tell you a little bit about the upcoming event. The event will be held at the market at St. Andrews, and there is to be a shot clinic for both dogs and cats provided by the Humane Society, and Dr. McKnight Bayview Animal Hospital will be there. You still have plenty of time to cast your vote for your favorite salty cat to be on the Salty Kitty Committee by visiting saltycatday.com. Each vote is $1, and proceeds go directly to helping the kitties in St. Andrews. The Salty Cat Rescue of St. Andrews works every day to help curb any issues that the local cat colonies have brought on. They spay, neuter, and rehome cats and make sure all their needs are met. The money raised on Salty Cat Day, which will be on May 15th, will benefit the Salty Cat Rescue of St. Andrews. They want to make more cat houses and have funds available to help with the cost of spay and neutering. There are at least 70 cats that live between Uncle Ernie's on Bayview Avenue and Alice's. Culture Salon by James Edward is having its grand opening this Saturday, also on April 24th, from 10 to 2, located at 1105 Beck Avenue. There will be live music, face painting, giveaways, food, and drink specials by the tap room. Okay, so this might be a good time to pause the podcast and go grab a pen and paper or your planner or your calendar so that you can write down some of these reoccurring events happening in St. Andrews. You may need to check each place's social media for specific times. There is yoga at Gypsy Life, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Little Fest happens most Mondays at the tap room. Trivia night is Tuesdays at the library. Line dancing is Wednesdays at the House of Bourbon. Comedy night is Thursday at the library. There's Crawfish Fridays at Barefoot on the Bay. There's also a painting workshop at Gypsy Beach most Fridays. There's also kids' painting classes on Saturdays at Gypsy Beach. The historic walking tours are Wednesdays and Fridays at 1 p.m. at the Publishing Museum. And there's also a seniors hour, which is every first Friday at the Publishing Museum. There's Sunday brunch at Alice's, Bergen Barrel, and Uncle Ernie's. There is a self-guided butterfly garden trail. Info is available at the Publishing Museum, and they are working on a birding trail, a collaboration between the Bay County Audubon Society, Floriopolis, and the Historic St. Andrews Waterfront Partnership. Since April is National Poetry Month, I'd like to read some St. Andrews-inspired poems on the podcast. Also, Poem in Your Pocket Day is on April 30th. You can send me your poems by DMing the podcast. I'm looking to read either a few short poems or 2 longer poems, depending on how many are submitted. You'll need to have the poems to me no later than Tuesday, April 27th. The poems don't need to have the word St. Andrews in them, but they should be inspired by St. Andrews. For those of you who don't know, I'm in a music festival void. Many of us are, since the necessary restrictions put into place due to COVID-19. Before COVID, I used to attend several music festivals per year. I was actually on the road to attend Swanee Spring Reunion in 2020 when I received an email from my editor that the festival had been canceled. So I made the choice to return home, and I haven't been to a festival since October of 2019. One of the things I miss the most about music festivals isn't the stage performances. It's the jam sessions that take place at the campsites. Parking lot or campsite picking is a long tradition at many bluegrass and some Americana music festivals. Playing music for the sheer joy of it is freeing. Quite honestly, it's therapeutic for me. It's amazing to wander the campgrounds with your instrument and quickly make new friends who are eager to play around the campfire for the fun and camaraderie of it. I've made friends from all over the world this way. So since festivals haven't quite come back yet, I'm trying to find ways to bring elements of music festivals into my everyday world and share that joy with others. The Floriopolis volunteers are currently planning some informal music for you at Janie's Fence. Some of you may know that the current Floriopolis exhibit on Janie's Fence is Songbirds. Floriopolis is working on getting some local songbirds to sing for you at the fence around sunset. I'll share more information as it's scheduled, but so far, Tyler Reese and I will be playing at the fence around sunset. We've never met, so we may play together or we may take turns. I'll post more specific information on Facebook and Instagram as we work out the details, so keep your eye on the fence for some sunset music coming up soon. Next time you walk by the public art display at Janie's Fence, count the songbirds. We have 25 pieces of art, but how many songbirds are there? I know you all want to shop local for Mother's Day, and we know the first places that you might think of are Little Village, Grits and Grace, Eva and Quinn, Gypsy Beach, Adonia, and Trendyside. But here's a few that you might not think of as a fantastic place to get your Mother's Day gifts. There's the Little Indigo Spa, Gypsy Life, Sunjammers, the Publishing Museum, Native Spirit, Salon on Beck, Floriopolis, Amavita, and Blissful Cottage. Socks, the mayor of St. Andrews, says don't forget to mark your calendars for a beach cleanup day on May 1st. Come join us for the first community cleanup on Beach Drive. Bags and gloves will be provided. Sturdy shoes, sunscreen, and water is recommended. Please have your pups leashed. We'll meet at Asbel Park and clean the beach. It's around 2 miles if you go both ways. I should also add that there is a tree giveaway at Oakland Terrace on May 1st, and there is also a wellness market at the Hub, which is at the corner of 11th and Beck, May 2nd from 2 to 7 p.m. I have some big news, y'all. The Salty Sunset Market starts Thursday, May 6th. This will be every Thursday evening, and it will feature all the things you love about St. Andrew's Saturday Market, but it will be at nighttime. This is perfect for those of you who normally can't make it to the market at St. Andrews on Saturday mornings because there's so much going on in not just St. Andrews, but all over Bay County. The specifics are currently being planned, and we'll have more updates on future episodes. Be sure to follow the Market at St. Andrews on social media, and hopefully we'll be able to get Megan McDougall back to talk about the new market that's happening Thursday evenings. Did you vote? Good job, Ward 4. Can't wait to hear the turnout of numbers. This concludes this week's community events. Be sure to tune in next week for more. Salty Cat Day quickly approaching. Of course, we had to have Jackie from the Salty Cats of St. Andrews Cat Rescue here to talk about her nonprofit and the upcoming event. I adopted my 2 kitties from the Salty Cats of St. Andrews Rescue, and they've been warming my heart ever since. So if you have a heart for cats, then stay tuned for a great interview with Jackie Mihal of Salty Cats of St. Andrews Cat Rescue. Good morning. You're listening to the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast. We're here today with Jackie Mihal, and she is with the Salty Cats of St. Andrews Rescue here in St. Andrews. Hey, Jackie, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
How did Salty Cats of St. Andrews come to be in St. Andrews? Why St. Andrews of all places?
I used to come down and visit my husband twice a month, and we'd go to Uncle Ernie's, and I fell in love with all the cats out there, and I would buy shrimp dinners for them and feed them shrimp. And then we started walking down the road and saw that there's a major problem. So I decided I would just jump into action and start getting them spayed, neutered, and vaccinated, and then we continue to feed them as well.
When did that begin?
A year ago.
Oh, that's fantastic. And why do you love cats?
How can you not, is how I put it. They're just wonderful, soothing animals. They're fun. They're quirky. They have little attitudes. And what most people don't realize is they speed healing in your body. So it's scientifically proven that they can speed healing in bone fractures, bone density. They also calm your nerves. So it helps with stress related, mental, emotional, heart issues, as well as blood pressure. So they're just an amazing animal.
Absolutely. I know that I can have the most stressful day, but I come home to Andy and Kensington. They're like a couple of twin engines. The purring and the cuddling just begins, and they make everything all right.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, what advice would you give someone who's considering adopting a rescue cat or a rescue kitten?
I recommend coming out to our cattery, because they can come out and interact with a number of cats. And that way they can see their little personalities, and we can match up the perfect cat with their needs, their work schedules, their personalities, what they're looking for, and they can fall in love with a cat. But then I also say, please research in knowing what comes about to having a cat. Money for vets, food, shelter. We prefer our cats to be inside because nothing good comes from being outside, hawks, things like that.
Absolutely. And I can personally attest to going to a cat meet and greet at your cattery. When we adopted Andy and Kensington, I tell everyone this story very affectionately. It was kind of like being on the cat dating game, how you just kind of had this intuition as to which cats we were clicking with, like, oh, there goes another cat. Yep. There goes another cat. Until we were down to the 3 and then down to the 2. And they warm my heart every day. And they're spoiled and they're living a really good life.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so how can the community get involved with donating items to the Salty Cats Rescue, or how can they get involved volunteering?
They can either call us or message us on Facebook, preferably message. We can set up a pickup time for food and litter donations, or some people are donating towels and sheets and different items that we need for trapping, as well as cleaning on a daily basis. We can do that. They can drop it off at the Gypsy Beach Treasured Creations here in St. Andrews. She takes donations for us, or I can meet them somewhere, that whatever is convenient for them. Volunteering, we have people coming out to the cattery, from everything from helping me clean to building cat houses to socializing, because that's big. We want all our cats to be socialized and well-rounded, so they're happy and healthy and just a nice little kitty to have in your home.
Absolutely. I believe that socialization in cats is absolutely a must for their development. So I also hear that Salty Cat Day is coming up at the market at St. Andrews. What's that all about? And what exactly is this Salty Kitty Committee I keep hearing about?
We are so excited about this day. The St. Andrews Waterfront Preserve is actually hosting it at the St. Andrews Market. And we're having raffle baskets. We're having best king and queen cat. So people come dressed as their cat, or as a crazy cat lady or a crazy cat dad, and we'll pick a winner. And then all the children that are dressed up as cats, we'll do a little parade throughout the market. People can bring food, litter, blankets, again, donations to us. We have the Girl Scouts 492. They built 2 amazing cat houses that will be on display. They also took it upon themselves and raised 500 pounds of food.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
That's
just
amazing.
amazing. So we'll have that. We'll have events for the children to do, rock painting, things like that. We have adoption events going on. There'll be Mewtwo's, 9 Lives, and then, of course, Salty Cats of St. Andrews will be there with cats. And then the Salty Cat Committee, you enter your cat into being, in the running, and we're going to pick the top 3 kitties from our community votes, and they will back up Socks, our salty dog mayor. I get them all mixed up. But they will be the committee for Socks. So then we can get out the events that are happening in St. Andrews, and also just keeping people informed on what's going on with the cats and dogs for adoption clinics, shop clinics, things like that. So it's just exciting.
That sounds so exciting. And I'm so sad that I'm not going to be able to make it because I'm playing during that time. But I'm sure that Megan or someone will be live streaming. So I'll be able to catch that later and see what it was like. So how does the Salty Cat Rescue help feral or injured or sickly cats?
We trap, then we spay, neuter, and vaccinate. And we'll return them to their location as long as it's a safe location. If it's not, then we try to tame them. And all kittens and young cats are tamed and then placed in homes. An injured cat would be brought directly to the vet. And then I care for them at my home until they're well enough to be returned. And again, if it's not a situation that they can be returned, they'll stay with me and they'll live their lives out with Salty Cats.
Awesome. And how can the community find resources when it comes to shot clinics or spay or neutering services?
By reaching out to us on Facebook. We try to list shot clinics, and they can also go to Lynn Haven Animal Shelter website, and they'll do shot clinics. So does Bay County. So does Operation Spay Bay. So we try to list those. For spaying and neutering, they can bring them to Operation Spay Bay Monday and Tuesday from 7:15 to about 9 o'clock. They can drop off. It's $35. So $35, you're getting a cat spayed, neutered, and vaccinated. And they'll tip their little ear. So that's the new in look for cats, to have a little left ear tip. And that alerts everybody that this cat has been fixed and vaccinated. So even if it's not your own personal cat, we appreciate you feeding the ferals, but step up and get 1, 2, 3, as many as you can fixed. And if you can't afford it, please reach out to one of us, one of the rescues, and we'll come in and we'll do it.
That is awesome. Thank God for cat lovers. I've always grown up around cats. My grandmother had a cat rescue unofficially before cat rescue sort of became a thing. She just took in every cat that ambled into her house, which sometimes that was right off the highway. We lived right on Highway 231. She nursed so many cats back to health. It was never unusual to have no more than, I'd say, 15 to 30 cats at my grandmother's house. And many of them lived outside, and many of them had old school catteries that my grandfather built for the cats back then. So just to see that this kindness is being extended to our animals is really heartwarming. And thank you for all that Salty Cats does for the community and to all the other cat rescues out there. It's my understanding that you're originally from New York, if I remember correctly, and you relocated here years later. What do you love about St. Andrews?
It's so rich in history. It's truly a wonderful little village. I love the community down here. The shops, the merchants are amazing. We have really cool shops. So you need to come down here and walk the village. It's wonderful. I just can't say enough about St. Andrews. And just the energy that is down in St. Andrews is warm and inviting. And all the merchants are very inviting, and they want to help. And they just want to make St. Andrews a better place and keep it growing. But we love it. We love all the little shops that we can go into. We have the restaurants from Uncle Ernie's to Alice's to Hunt's. It's just great. And then you have Little Village. Little Village, holy, it's just amazing. They have the local artists come in, the musicians. You can sit and listen and grab a bite to eat at Finn's and just chill out on their back porch. It's just incredible.
Absolutely. We really do have a wonderful community here in St. Andrews. So for your friends back home, if they were to come here and visit, specifically, which places would you recommend them to enjoy a meal at, have drinks? What sites should they see and what things should they do?
My go-to place is Alice's. You can grab everything from an amazing burger to grouper to a scrumptious salad. I mean, she just has it all. It's all fresh. We also go to Hunt's where they catch their own fish. So it's very fresh. You can't get any fresher than that. And then Uncle Ernie's just opening up was amazing as well. We go to the tap room, sit out back, have a beer, a cider. And they have local musicians coming in as well. So we have people coming in to visit. We always bring them down to St. Andrews to walk to see the cats We bring them to all the different colonies. There's about 70 cats back there on Bayview, and they've all been spayed, neutered, and vaccinated, all but one, and he will be done. And then, of course, we have to visit our beaches when we come.
Absolutely.
And just show the history. The museum, the printing museum, that's another one. And then all the butterfly gardens.
Floriapolis.
I get tongue-tied. But it's such a cute little art store to come and visit and hang out and talk and just see what they have to offer.
Absolutely. Before I forget, how is Kramer? Tell us a little bit about Kramer and how he's doing.
Oh, he is the most loving cat out there. For all that he went through, he had his eye removed and 5 teeth and got neutered and vaccinated all in one day. I mean, it was a lot for him. He wants kisses. He loves the other animals, and he just wants his forever home. He lives with me, but I would like him to have his own little family so he can get more attention, because that's what he wants. He just wants to be loved, but he's doing great. He really is.
Absolutely. Do you think he'll be ready soon?
He is ready.
Okay.
He is up for adoption. There was a family that was interested. It was a 12-year-old girl, and he's an older cat. He's like 5 to 7. And I thought a younger cat would probably be better. So I had them come to the cattery. And as amazing as he is, a younger cat, a kitten, fit them better, because they also had a dog that was very active. And Kramer's not very active. He's just laid back and chill. Just love me, pet me, feed me. I'm good.
Yes, it sounds like Kramer's receiving a lot of love, and he's been through a lot, but he probably needs more of an environment that's a little bit more laid back.
Yes.
So how can folks find the Salty Cats Rescue online and beyond?
The best way is to go on Facebook and look us up on, Salty Cats of St. Andrews face page, and they can message me, and they can see all the events that are going on that we're doing, and all animals that are lost. We try to post that up. Dogs and cats, birds, whatever pet is missing, we try to keep that out and going into the community so we all can join in and try to find the lost animal and update them on shot clinics. And we need to place more of our cats that are up for adoption on our website. We're getting there. I have a lot to do.
Maybe there's someone out there who could volunteer and help you out with that someday. So if you're listening, maybe that would be helpful. All right. Thank you so much, Jackie, for being here today. Y'all don't forget, Salty Cat Day is at the market at St. Andrews this Saturday, April 24th. We'll see you there. Till then, keep St. Andrews salty. So one of the things I love most about St. Andrews is having the liberty to have an ice cold beer or cocktail just about anywhere I go. However, alcohol wasn't as socially acceptable in the early days of St. Andrews. This week's Old News segment is from the St. Andrews Bay News. It was written by the National Women's Christian Temperance Union in 1917. This one's called Temperance Notes and gives a detailed list of what 2 beers a day will buy. I'm so glad we've moved beyond these times. Beer is so much more expensive, but of course it's always worth it. Every single time. I hope you enjoy this article. It was found on FloridaHiddenTreasures.com in the newspaper archive, and this one was published April 24th in 1917. At 5 cents a glass, the cost of 2 drinks of beer for 365 days is $36.50. Appended is a list of household commodities which can be bought for the price of 2 beers a day for a year, based on the market prices in January of 1917. 100 pounds of flour, 1 sack of graham flour, 1 sack of cornmeal, 2 bushels of potatoes, 30 dozen eggs, 15 pounds of ham, 4 pounds of butter, 5 pounds of coffee, 1 pound of tea, 25 pounds of sugar, 50 cents worth of beans, 1/2 gallon of syrup, 8 pounds of lard, 1 quart of oysters, 1 package of starch, 6 packages of washing powder, dozen bars of laundry soap, 5 cans of milk, 1 sack of buckwheat, 1 package of rolled oats, 1 package of Weather Hearts, 2 packages of Post Toasties, 3 packages of Sunshine Biscuits, 2 packages of soda biscuits, 1 package of oatmeal crackers, 1 package of puffed rice, 1 package of soda, 1 pound of baking powder, 3 cans of corn, 3 cans of tomatoes, 3 cans of berries, half dozen oranges, 1 package of Postum cereal, 1 bottle of pickle olives, 1 bottle of chili sauce, 1 bottle of Worcestershire sauce, 2 pounds of cottage cheese, 1 package of borax. If a grocer wants an ad that will attract attention, let him pile up these articles in his window and with it an explanation of the exhibit. It will increase his business, decrease the saloon keepers, and keep the town generally.
April is National Poetry Month, and Poem in Your Pocket Day is April the 30th. To celebrate local poetry, I thought I'd read some poems that were submitted to the podcast by some of our salty locals. Keep listening to hear Sara Heath recite a couple of her poems, and then I'm so excited to read a poem written by last week's guest, Jason Hedden, which is called Heritage.
This one is called Panama City. The town littered with rubble, many trees here have died, but the people are creatives, and the arts here, they thrive. Festivals to celebrate, art and music in the streets. Seem this little town is turning a new leaf. People coming together to make the town pretty, because this is our home here in Panama City. Here's one from 1996. On the shores of the bay is where my heart plays, watching the shimmering water glistening from the rays. So many hours I have spent each day sitting entranced by the beauty of the bay. Even when it's raining, it still captivates me. Watching the waves and the rough seas. For the rest of my life, I just want to be next to the bay, the ocean, or sea.
Within the days of the storm, we heard the rumors. Like so many others, I had to see if they were true. As I made my way cautiously down your broken path, I wasn't sure I could take more pain. But the stories were true. There you were, proud, almost defiant, refusing to bow down. Did you even flinch? At first I thought your friends were fine too. They were so tall that even on their sides, they reached high above my head. It wasn't until the sawdust settled that we could clearly see who you lost. With so many fallen friends, you seem even taller now. October was stolen with the wind. How many autumns have you seen? I'm glad we don't know for sure. We're not ready to count your rings. I see you have your own fence, the only one in town. The squirrels scurry like chameleons, ants across your antique lines, searching for your wisdom. Hey guys, save some for us. If we look closely, we see you are just touching your neighbor, holding him up with the slightest touch. We know what that's like, the holding and the being held. I noticed today that you grow toward the city, reaching with an extra arm of care, like Mom used to do when she made a sudden stop, still keeping one hand firmly on the wheel. We all stopped that day to dig out, to call out, to reach out, to count our blessings and our losses. We are reaching still. Like your missing moss eaten by the winds, we have taken a beating and don't count us out. Did you really see the war between the states? A century keeping enemies at bay, brother versus brother? We're glad you're still here to see, brother helping brother. We need you, Century. Still guard us against fear, division, indifference. Help us remember the camaraderie we felt in those early days. They call the greens that coat your arms resurrection ferns. They can lose almost everything and still return to life. You're not their host, but they lean on you, needing a steady anchor to better see the sun. Like a phoenix, on your sacred perch, we too are coming back to life, stronger than before. The fuel we needed most was merely dormant, waiting for the right conditions to appear. Our heritage, our oak. You offer an inheritance of lasting love, steadfast strength, so we look to you. O mighty oak, protect us 'neath your bower. Cleanse us in your shade. Thank you for a place to rest when our work is done. Jason Hedden. Thank you all so much for listening to episode 26 of the St. Andrew's Jezebel Podcast. We also have a Facebook page and an Instagram account. The pages will share when future episodes will be published and more information regarding the growth of the podcast. I hope you visit these pages and show your support by liking, following, and sharing the pages with all your salty friends. Also, just a reminder, if you like what you heard on this episode, please leave me a comment on YouTube or your preferred podcast platform. Before I go, I need to mention that I'm hoping to share all kinds of public events. If you're having a yard sale or you'd like me to help you promote a special happening, please DM the podcast on Facebook, or you can email me at ashley.feller@gmail.com. The podcast is now available to stream on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, CastBox, and Google Podcast. I'd like to thank everyone who has subscribed and shared the podcast with all their salty friends. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Thank you everyone again for supporting this effort. The intro music was written by me and recorded by Dave Schwartz at Boundless Sounds on the campus of Gulf Coast State College. The show was recorded by me in my music room. Till next time, keep St. Andrews salty.
Red lipstick, so thick, and a push-up bra. Tramp stamp, stretch marks, and a lacy thong, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel.